All right, good morning, everyone. Louis Porcelino, Man Over Market, and today is the third or the second. I'm sorry, third. I'm sorry, the 3rd of November, and this is your ES Morning Call. We got Anthony Porcelino sitting here, also Chris got on her way, and Pat and Houston, and the rest of the team. Uh, Sorry, on the morning blog, we put the wrong information out on the point of control because we used the 24-hour session. We usually the day only session in the S&Ps, and we put it out. But we'll cover it this morning here. But first, I want to comment about yesterday, okay? So a lot of you follow me because you know I've been doing this a long time, right? And one of the things that really upsets me with how this electronic trading form's gone is that the big players now, institutional players, have total anonymity. They can do whatever they like. They can trade whatever they like, trade whatever they want, and they can do it on total. No one knows. No one knows what they're doing. And, the exchanges have given them this high frequency trading. They don't, you don't have to, you can't see the counterparts on trades. So years ago, when we were trading in the pit, we knew when a Goldman broker came in that Goldman Sachs, and the Morgans and the Merrills of the world were not retail firms, and you could see their big clients performing or getting in the markets, buying, selling, and so on. Right? We didn't have to know who they were. We just knew that there was a big institutional player that was either on one side of the market or not. So when the E-minis first came out, you could go to the E-mini machine, see them matched up, and you could see the counterparty. So if you saw Goldman on the sell or Goldman on the buy, you'd be able to see that. The Merc took that away. You can't see that anymore. So yesterday, and this is what I take from yesterday, we had, when you take a look at it, we'll go over the TPO count. We had nonstop buying, buying tail from the beginning, and buying all the way to the end of the day. We didn't have a 700-point break until on the close, right? And we stayed above it. All right. So this is what my experience taught me when I see things like that. All right. There's gonna be a break. There's gonna be a break, and it's gonna break down, and we're gonna forget about this day, and we're gonna think, oh wow, that guy was gone, and I can't believe that they just bought it and they were wrong. And it may be Friday. It may be Friday. We may get a spike down because unemployment doesn't work. But by the end of the day, I can, I almost bet my whole career on this, that the market will be higher by the end of the year, because yesterday was one of those days that's telling me that some institution came in and bought from the get-go, and if it might not even one, it might have been several. So they don't have to be right now. They're going to be right when they get out. So just wanted to throw that out yesterday. A lot of the reasons that a lot of you follow me is because of my experience. Okay. Another thing, I was always surfing the net, looking for different things, personality traits of different, what makes good traders and so on. And interesting, I was watching a video last night, and the gentleman said, I would prefer that I had somebody who didn't go to college and was in the Marines for 20 years. And then he put the two together. He said, the person who didn't go to college, just graduated high school, doesn't feel that they're very smart, but he's got the discipline of being in the military, right? So you get to follow somebody else's rules, right? So the successful traders will, be the type of people that say, okay, well, this is what works. These are the rules. The proven successes follow all these rules, right? Where sometimes the more educated people will believe that they have the better sauce, right? So it just comes down to this, right? There is no holy grail, and this is a process, and you have to follow the rules, and you have to go back to our 10 commandments. I call them. We used to call them the 10 commandments, but the 10 rules of trading. I wrote them 20 years ago. Hundreds of people have copied them and tried to come up with their own rules, but basically the 10 rules are the same. So you can find them on our site. All right. So kind of a slow night with all the markets. I think that this Friday we have unemployment, which is really weighing on the markets, especially on the bonds and gold. Oil is trading higher again, and we were sort of like in a very small overnight range. let's go to chart sharing. We'll get that over with. And if you got any questions, really send them in to Anthony, and we can get these taken care of. I flipped the screen around because people keep telling me my book is backwards. So I guess when this renders, I guess the book will be the right way. So hopefully that's what we get. All right. We're going to share. Okay, let's go right here. Let's talk about news today. So we're looking at the news. So this is wrong. This is the overnight sessions together. Okay, so we will correct that shortly. I corrected it on my screen. So let's look at news. Did I pass it already? Here we go. I'm going to get you dizzy here. Here it is. All right, so 7:30, the Gallup US ECI is out already. We got Redbook at 7:55, factory orders at 9 a.m., 4-week bill auction. Not a real heavy news day. All right, so I'd be waiting to see what happens with factory orders. Okay, when we take a look at overnight action, I'm looking at here we are right in the middle. We've got sort of an unfinished top at 20.97 and a quarter. Okay, we've got a 20.89 bottom low. Okay, market's trading right here at 20.93.75, 93.75. So you know, I really don't have a bull bear zone today. I mean, you know, this is an unfinished top up here from yesterday. Okay, so and when I look down here and I look at the structure of this rally, this is unfinished for me down here. I think we've got to fill in. You know, we're going to fill this in before we go out and take up the highs. Okay, but so you know, the market definitely, after I watched that display of, I call it horseshit trading. You know, we had the market just went straight up. We didn't have more than a 200-300 point break. I mean, you couldn't even get in after bracket D. You were not. You know, there was nothing to do. I mean, it just slowly grind higher, grind higher. And then finally, at the end of the day, we've got a 700 point rotation. If you take a look at the high here at 2100, and I think if you look at the low of bracket, let's go bracket PQ 20. There you go. 2093 is 700 points basically, right? So you know, that's when you finally got the rotation. We had a little move down overnight. Okay. And, you know, we're still, you know, trading in the upper part of the range. So, I think that, you know, the market is trading right now inside of value. Okay. We got 2099 half, 2096 half is a point of control, and 2085 quarter is the bottom of value. I would, you know, I'm going to put the bull bear zone. You know, this is not a bad place to put it. It's 2081 half down here, but I'm kind of neutral on the bull bear zone right now. I'm looking for the market to take out the extremes on either end from the Globex highs or lows. Okay. Currently, right now, as we speak, the S&P is trying to take out its 5-minute pivot. Okay. All right. You can tell. So you look at the CCI, and this is the way I look at this. All right. You had the CCI in a sell, it was a red. Now it's all green. It's back to the middle. This is gray. This is telling me that the market is basically in the middle. As it really has no direction, and you're going to have to. I think you'd have to wait till after 9 o'clock, get whatever numbers are out before we can get any sort of movement one way or the other. The markets are starting out mixed. The S&P and the Dow, as you can hear, the Dow going to a buy, taking out its 5-minute pivots. Okay. Same thing. Dow's getting a little bullish, going from a red to gray to green down here in our CCI. Okay. And then we have the Russell and the NASDAQ still. I'll bring these two down. Here's the Russell. Here's the NASDAQ. All right. But basically same thing as the S&Ps, red to gray, 5-minute pivot up above. we've gone from red to gray, a little bit of green here in the MACD, and up here, still a 5-minute up above. So I would say that this morning is going to be mixed, and we're going to have to wait for at least bracket BC to form some sort of trading opinion on what's going to go on with the S&Ps. Okay, so bringing us to oil. Oil is still on a rampage to the upside. So after it made that low last Friday at 42.5, it's just been going straight up. So we're up here at 47.31 high. Okay, 46.29 is the top of value. Point of control at 46.12. 45.95. I'll use 45.71 as the bull bear zone today in oil. All right, bull bear zone in oil. Bonds and gold are basically going to be contracting. Bonds have been selling off. We're at the bottom part of value. You got value level at 55.20. Volume point of control 55.30. Bull bear zone 56.05, 56.10. Bonds have basically been in a range now for a couple months between 54.5 to 58.5. Or actually, I think we spiked up to 160. So we'll see what happens with unemployment and if the Fed can get off zero in December. All right, and gold still selling off. Look at this. All right, we got gold still selling off and trading lower. We got the value area low at 1133.60. Okay, gold is down almost $50 off of last week's high of 1175 area. So something's up. We had S&P's a nonstop buyer yesterday. We got gold selling off. Remember, I talk about gold as being a demand product. Possibly making new highs and get a rate hike. That's what look. If I was a Fed governor, Janet Yellen, and the market was up there, and we're making new highs. Years ago, we used, when I first started trading, I tell you the interest rates were like at 18%. It was nothing for the Fed to come in and make a surprise move during the day during the trading markets. But I think they said they're going to forecast. But this is telling me, right, with gold selling off, that in December, okay. All right, that people believe that they're going to make this move because gold is a hedge against inflation. If I get some sort of yield, even though they're on zero, I could take my money out of gold and put it into something that earns interest, and I don't have to pay any carrying cost. Or this is just a great big fake out by the Fed to allow the company, the more countries to acquire gold at a lower price. Who knows? Right? I wish I had that inside track, right? I don't have that inside track. So once again, I'm looking at the S&Ps. We're in the middle. We're right in the middle of value. Okay, you got a point of control of 2096 half. All right, 2099 half and 2085 half and a quarter. The stuff that we put out on the blog was a 24-hour period. We look at the day only session when we give you our value areas, right? So once again, recapping, we've got red going to gray, meaning we're neutral. MACD green. I think we got factory orders at 9. I think you got to wait and see before you can make any sort of educated decision on where you're going to place your orders today. Okay, so very contracted range. All right, very contracted range, and 97 and a quarter high, and unfinished on both ends at 2089. Remember that one of our cardinal rules is that the market has to take out the Globex high or low by a significant amount, meaning at least 5 to 6 ticks. So 4 points or 125 points. Any questions over there, Anthony?
I got most.
Okay. What's up?
Mostly about the program, and people are really excited about
when the program comes out, you'll see what was taking so long. I've got some exciting partnerships with some very good institutions, and we're working on getting those all settled down. And let me go back over here. Okay. Okay, time for me to get up a little bit on my soapbox, and you know, I don't, I keep looking at what's going on in the world, and I try to make sense of it. I'm 58 years old now, and I remember when when I first hit the trading floor, and I thought, like, so what's happened in this world as far as trading is concerned is when I left and decided that I was going to take a hiatus from trading, right? There were 400, maybe 450,000 people worldwide. That's fund managers, hedge funds, CTAs, retail traders that traded commodities. Now that number is more like 7 million, right? And so there's a lot of information out there, okay? But what they've done, or what electronic trading has done, and if you talk to people in New York, guys that used to be specialists, you look at it, right? And everybody used to think it was like a good old boy network and so on. But what they've done is kind of destroyed the ecosystem, right? The ecosystem used to be, I found the mercantile in 81. I just graduated college. My father passed away. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was actually driving a truck, all right? I was driving I had a CDL. They didn't have CDLs back then. And I was playing handball, not racquetball. I was playing handball with a guy that was a trader at the Merc. And, gold was at like $800, and I thought I could trade futures, right? I didn't know anything about it. So the guy said to me, "Hey, why don't you just come down and become a runner, take a look at it?" So I basically, and this is the truth. I tell people the story. My mother, after my father died, I liquidated their assets and sold her house and the cash that was left. And she had about $165,000 in cash, which was a lot of money back in 1979. But the way I got to the Mercantile Exchange was I took that $165,000 and I put it in a 2-year CD that was earning 17%, and it covered all my mom's bills. And my brother and I, we were both living at home. We were still living with my mother, and that interest rate was actually covering our bills. And I took a job making $137 a week as a runner. And I was fortunate that my mother was a legal secretary, a guy named Maury Kravitz, who was the biggest gold trader. And then his partner was a gentleman named Leo Malamed. They were law partners. So everybody who knows anything about the Merc, and they had another associate named Jack Sander. So when I got to the exchange, I tapped Maury on the shoulder, and Maury said to me, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He knew me since I was a little boy. And I said, "Well, I got a job as a runner." He said, "Come back in 2 weeks and you will be my clerk." And then a year later, he sponsored me to get a seat. That's how people became members of exchanges. Somebody knew somebody, young kids out of high school. A lot of the traders, basically, it goes back to the point of what I've said. They didn't go to college. They found the Merc or the Board of Trade or the Board of Options right out of high school, and they went down there. They had aggressive personalities. They had, they were trying to make up for the fact they didn't go to college, and they did a great job, great work ethic, and then they went in and somebody sponsored them. So these trading funding programs are awesome, but make sure you're getting it in the right one, right? Make sure that the people are going to stand by you with education. They're going to make it as real as possible, because at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? I want to create the ecosystem back. I want you to be on Team Man Over Market, Team Borsalino. We believe that what we do is right, and it's kind of destroyed the ecosystem. And I'm a little concerned about how we get there, right? So all these things. I look back and I see all these things like Lyft and Uber, and now there's a thing called Via, right? And this is where now 3 or 4 people are sharing a ride, and it's even cheaper than Uber, right? And they ask you, they ask you to do something, right? They ask you to walk to the corner, and then I look at the rents and the millenniums who really don't want to own homes anymore, and they'll live in Manhattan or in Chicago with 3 or 4 roommates, and it's all about their lifestyle and so on. So I look at this industry and say, you would look at millenniums because they want their time and they want this, but you know what? Let me tell you something. This is going to be hard. This is hard. You want to get in this trading program? It's going to be hard. And you know what? At the end of the day, it'll be beneficial for you once you get in this program, right? And so, I'm sorry for the delays, and we keep telling you, but it's coming, and you're going to be happy. And I think we're going to set the standard and be different from other programs that are out there. I'm not bum wrapping anybody else's program, but at the end of the day, our goal is to create a lot of good traders. And at the end of the day, we also want people who will come in the man over market, be a contributor. You have a trading idea, you have a system. Hey, we're going to give you that backbone and that support that will allow you to go and back test your systems and share your ideas in the community, right? I mean, that's what we're looking for. So I'm getting off my soapbox, and it's coming. I'm working hard, sleeping 4 hours a night. I always slept 4 hours a night, but at the end of the day, nothing's changed as far as I'm concerned, right? You could be in the right place, right time, where I was in 1981, right? I got somebody gave me an opportunity, right place, right time. The futures market has exploded as far as going from a little network of guys to a bunch of 20-year-olds who were, flinging around millions and billions of dollars worth of contracts, right? So this is an exciting time for me. For the most of you don't know, one of my hobbies was coaching high school football and grammar school football. And, I coached for 6 years and won 4 state championships. And I used to tell these guys, these kids, if you think that I'm here to teach you to become a good football player, that is not what I'm here. I'm here to teach you to become men, productive parts of societies. Not that I'm telling you what our goal was. You're going to be productive. You're going to be a good husband someday. You're going to be a good father. You're going to be productive. You're going to know what hard work means. You're going to know what teamwork means. And you're going to know all these different attributes. And every single one of those attributes, you're going to need to be a good trader. So, mentoring is what I do. And this is what I think that we're going to have a lot to offer when it comes to this. All right. So I'm off the soapbox. Be careful today. I think you got to kind of sit on the sidelines until the market makes up your mind. My thoughts are that this market is going to have a break in the next couple of days. And maybe even Friday, it'll look like, oh my God, then a race Tuesday away, right? It's just the way the institutions, right? They can whitewash things. They whitewash things. Yeah, but we know where the market's going, right? We know China's going to cut rates. We know what earnings are going to be. We know what the unemployment's going to be, right? I wish that we can get all that inside information, right? I used to tell people on the floor, you know how you always have a winning trade? Get one good look at the order before it went in the pit, right? Would you like to buy 100 S&Ps before an order comes into that computer to buy 10,000? So, all right, I'm off my soapbox. Stay with us. Can't wait to get you in the team, and good luck today.